Welcome, leaders, teams, and those ready to take charge of their energy. It's Kelly Bubolz, your guide in workforce energy management. Burnout is not just a buzzword, it's a symptom of deeper root cause stressors. We're here to stop waiting for the change and start leading it. It's time to reclaim our energy and lead our days with intention and purpose. The best leaders can flex their work style to meet their team members where they're at. Have you ever had a boss that just completely didn't understand you? Or they continue down a path, a conversation without changing their style, and you are just completely lost, increasing this gap in between you. Not only is this unproductive and a time waster, but you're reducing that trust and that communication over time, saying, you don't understand me, you don't get it. And the number one reason why people leave their employers is their leaders. So when you have a really good leader that understands different work styles, understands their team members, you're not only supporting the productivity of each team member to get the work done, but it's a retention strategy. It's maintaining that top talent in your organization that you want to keep. Because we know when employees are in their energy zone, when they feel understood, when they feel like their voice is heard, they do better work. They're more creative and they're more innovative. So when you're talking about burnout, when you're talking about disengagement, those are all symptoms. Let's talk about the root causes of why people are disengaging, why people are burning out. Process problems, operational workflow issues, and people don't understand them. They're in the wrong roles. Their energy is being just drained and misplaced in things that should be fixed. And that all begins with conversations between an employee and a leader. So when leaders can learn not only their work style, but the work styles of their team members, you're going to increase that retention, you're going to maintain those top talent, and you're going to increase productivity naturally without burning your people out. So let's talk about each work style and how to lead them. Ds. These are fast-paced movers. They don't want all of the conversation and the fluff and puff emails. You want to be direct. You want to be focused on the results or the milestones to the results that they want to hit. That is how their behavior responds to their environment. And that's super motivating to them, especially when they hit the results. So you want to be focused on not only the results, but removing the hurdles from getting them the result. Have you ever seen the conflict between like a sales employee and maybe a process flow employee down the line? And they have this conflict, and it's because the person down the line is causing a hurdle, causing a challenge from them getting the result. And it might be a process issue, it might be a system issue, something completely out of this employee's control. But the D sees that they're not going to hit the results because of another employee. So this is where the behavioral science is coming in to create this understanding between work styles. Is you can address a D directly. You want to be focused on the results, but you also want to be focused on removing those challenges, those hurdles, so that they're not creating this conflict, this resentment against others because they're not getting the results. So a lot of coaching during one-on-one meetings, those leadership conversations are going to be around how do we get the result, but also how do we not lose people along the way. Now, I's, these are our more social people. These are our yellows, and they are team players. They want to make sure everyone has a voice and everyone's included. They want a fun environment, and that doesn't mean that you have to play games and have fun all the time, but they want to be enthusiastic about something. If you come into a project and you're monotone and there's not really a good linked result to what we're working towards, they're not super on board. So being enthusiastic, energized about new projects and initiatives is going to get eyes to kind of back up the plan. Another thing when you're managing this type of work style is recognition. It doesn't mean that it's always company-wide recognition that they need, but it's that one-on-one recognition. It's recognition within the team that they desire, and it's rooted in their voice being heard, their efforts being acknowledged. So recognition isn't always just giant gift cards and bonuses and company-wide announcements. It's that one-on-one recognition that they are seen, that their voice is heard. And let's move over to our other social, but a little bit more reserved type of work style, and that's our supportives. That's our greens. They want to be supportive, so give them something to support. Give them clarity of the value that they bring within that support. They also want some stability. So if you're going through change, if you're going into new initiatives, if you're moving roles and people around, they're looking for consistency and stability in that. So when you're managing a supportive work style, you want to make sure that you're acknowledging what is staying the same. You're acknowledging the stability that we may be going to it, but the steps we have to get there is going to be a little bit in that messy middle stage. You want to make sure that they're in roles that they can support people and they're not isolated or always dumped on where they can't provide value to others anymore. Supportives are very reserved and they want to avoid conflict. So if you have a meeting with a supportive over and over again and they're not saying anything, but you know something's going on, it's because they're an S. You're going to have to make sure that there's high trust, frequent communication, private environments for them to really open up in what's going on. Those big ideas, those areas they want to address in a large group probably isn't going to happen. So make sure that they have a voice in a smaller group, trusted environment, so they can be supportive and provide the value that energizes them. S's are often your yes people. So you want to make sure that they have good boundaries, that they're saying no so they can complete the work that they already said yes to. And our C's, our blues, these are our detailed people. So you want to give clear expectations, clear steps forward. Where are going to be the boundaries of what they own and what other people own? Where's the stop points, the due dates? What information do they need to move forward? Can you see already where a D style, our fast movers, our reds, and a C employee, so a D leader and a C employee, where they're going to have conflict? Because a D leader, they just want results. Right? Get the results, figure out a way. A C wants to research. They need more details. They need what are the clear expectations of this project. So you can see where the conflict's already coming in. If you do not adapt your leadership style, your D style, with the understanding of what a C actually needs to do a great job and move forward. Because they will do a high quality, great job, as long as their behavior, their work style is getting what it needs to move forward. Now, understanding of your work style comes first. If you do not understand what work style you are as a leader, you're already behind, because every day you show up trying to be everything for everyone and you don't even understand who you are, why things are so hard, why this specific work style, this person is difficult, but everyone else seems to get along with them. Let's take my work style. I am a high I and a very low C. And it's interesting because I came from manufacturing, so I'm around a lot of technical engineering type of brains. But that actually worked to my advantage because sometimes they weren't very good with people, but they were great with data. I don't need to move by data, but I move by people and their behaviors. So we actually complement each other because I could bring perspective from people behaviors and they can bring perspective from data and details and steps for execution. But I wouldn't understand their work style that because I'm such a low C without DISC behavioral science. I just thought people should get along. I think that people should be nice and polite and respectful. It comes naturally to me. But it's because I'm a high I. I'm social. I also didn't understand sometimes when I was leading people why they couldn't just move, like just do the thing. And it's because I'm an I. I'm a fast mover. The S and the C's are more methodical because they're checking all the boxes. They're checking pace. They're checking the details before they move forward. They want to make sure that every step is done in high quality and low risk. So once I understood my style, I knew what I had to do to adapt to the opposite style that is a little bit more methodical, needs a little bit more time to think, that needs more information and steps through change. And then I also know my weaknesses, my opportunities. That is in data and details, right? I can move without the gaps. I adapt quickly. I can go through change. I thrive in change. So pairing myself up with an S and a C actually helped me be a better leader because I didn't have to do things that drain me like data, and they got to, which is their thing, their energy zone. And I want to show you people that I worked with often, what we look like. You can already see we are opposite graphs. I am on the left, and the person I work with the most is on the right, the high C. So I am very people-orientated, fast mover, and they are very detailed, low people orientation and socialization. Now, they're very nice people. They're extremely polite and respectful, but if they could work by themselves and isolated, they would. That's their preferred type of work environment. Versus me, I need to be around people. I need to see behaviors. I need to see facial expressions. I thrive in that environment. Well, we paired up on many projects. And so you can see where the conflict will come in, how our work styles, even just rolling out the project, would be different. The pace and timing of this project was completely opposites. But that actually ended up complementing each other because I understood my work style and where I needed help, and he understood his work style and where he needed help. So he did a lot of the background data, detail information, putting the project information together, the scope of it, and I did most of the people things. Gathering information, making sure people were staying on pace with the timeline that we identified. I would run the meetings and facilitate the conversation because I can address conflict comfortably versus him. He wanted to stay out of it. He was in the meetings, but he was there for the data, information, and distribution of next steps. We complemented each other so well, but that didn't happen overnight. I had to understand how I lead, and he had to understand his work style as well, and we met in the middle. But because of that, we actually got to thrive in our energy zones. So when a leader thinks that they have to do everything, they're not really understanding the work styles that are under them. Because that's why you hired people, right? Is to do the work. You don't have to do everything. You just have to know the skills and the talent within your team to leverage them up. As a leader, you're managing that production. You're managing the process. You might be managing some pieces of the operation or the systems. But when you get to that sweet spot of understanding everyone's work styles, it's this nice flow where people get to play in their energy zones and they're getting along and you have good trust and communication. So you may have opposites on your team, but it doesn't have to be a drainer. It can actually be the success that makes your team thrive. So let's connect on what does this look like in your organization as you learn about your team, as you begin to manage your team, as you learn about your work style and where your strengths are at and where maybe you need to lean on your team more. Let's connect for your DISC assessment and training. Today's step matters. It's in the micro moments that real change begins. Managing your energy isn't about shame, blame, or disrupting your lifestyle. It's about the small, intentional choices to reclaim that natural energy. If this episode hit the mark for you, share with others. This journey doesn't have to be lost and lonely, but exciting and full of new paths. See you back here to continue the adventure.